we're cooking the sweet and spicy bacon burger.
Wow, it's beautiful. 2
beef patties, American cheese, Monterey Jack cheese, bacon, grilled onions, the sweet and spicy pepper sauce.
Sweet in the front and then the spicy in the back. I like it. I like it a lot.
So it's like a perfect balance, and then that bacon right there, it adds crunchiness.
I'll get back in line and get another one, I'll tell you that much.
Sweet spicy bacon burger. Come down to Whataburger. It's only here for a limited time.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of the Houston Astros Baseball Club and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Houston Astros. Once again, here's Robert.
Thank you, Steve. And on the mound for the Astros is Mike Fiers. He's 10-6 with a 4.29 ERA in 27 games, 26 starts. He's thrown 149 innings, has allowed 165 hits and 36 walks while striking out 116. League batting .279 against Fiers, who has an ERA of 2.70 over his last 4 starts, and the Astros have won all 4 of those games.
Overhand delivery for Fiers, that fastball right around 90 miles per hour. He's got the changeup, the curveball, and the cut fastball to go with it.
Dexter Fowler will start it off for the Cubs, hitting .267. .379 on base percentage, 10 homers, 40 RBIs. Fowler has 2 hits in this series, both of them coming leading off the game. Had a triple on Friday night, and yesterday a single. Did not score either time. 3 infielders on the right side for the Astros, as Gurriel will play a step shy of the grass at third base. And the first pitch of tonight's ball game, and Fowler takes it for a strike. First pitch brought to you by Landry's, the leader in dining, hospitality, entertainment, and gaming with over 500 locations nationwide. Find out more at Landry'sInc.com. The leg kick and the 0-1. That's a curve ball, and that missed inside. It's a ball into strike.
Game time temperature, it's 88 degrees outside. The roof is closed. It's 73 degrees inside. Game time temperature is brought to you by Carbach.
1-1 delivery. And there's a strike on the outside corner with a fastball. And Fiers gets ahead in the count. Rasmus will shade a little more toward the left center gap. Fiers with the 1-2. Curveball low. Fowler held on the swing.
Fowler does a good job getting on base. That's his job after all. Cubs were very happy to get him back after they originally thought he was going to sign with the Baltimore Orioles.
Coming back on a 1-year deal with an option for next year. 2-2. Curveball way high and outside. Gaddis came out of his crouch to grab it, and a full count now to Fowler. Fiers works from the first base side of the rubber. Now the leg kick and the pitch. Way inside, ball 4. So all 3 games of this series, Dexter Fowler has reached to lead off the game.
And an extra long look by Evan Gaddis looking at Mike Fiers like he got mixed up on that pitch. 3-2. He threw the changeup, and it sailed inside, and I think Gaddis called the fastball.
So Fowler, who has 9 steals and 13 attempts, is aboard for Chris Bryant, the third baseman. Bryant hitting .299, 4th in the National League with a .395 on-base percentage, tied for first with Nolan Arenado and 37 home runs. And he has 93 runs batted in. 3 infielders on the right side. Throw over to first base on a hop, in and out of Gonzalez's glove as Fowler dives back safely. The ball wound up just dying right after it dropped out of Marwin's glove. Series even at a game apiece. Rubber game of this 3-game set. Cubs winning 2-0 on Bryant's 2-run home run on Friday. Astros winning 2-1 yesterday. Pitch on the way. That's grounded up the third baseline, and that's past the dive of Gurriel and into the left field corner. Fowler is on his way to third. He's around third and coming home. Fowler will score. It's an RBI double for Chris Bryant, and it's a 1-0 lead for the Cubs.
Took a little while for Rasmus to get that one out of the corner. And they were able to send him Fowler around third base for the game's first score. Just a shot down the third baseline. Gurriel diving to his right down the line.
So Bryant with his 33rd double and 94th RBI of the year. And now it's Anthony Rizzo, who's still looking for his first hit in this series. Batting .292, 7th in the National League with a .390 on base percentage. Tied for 6th with 29 homers. Tied for 3rd with 97 RBIs. 3 infielders on the right side. Pitch by Fiers. And that is on the inside corner for a strike. Able to get the fastball over. Rizzo stands close to the plate. Big reason why he often gets hit. He's tied for 4th with 16 hit by pitches as the curveball drops in for a strike, and it's 0-2. You know, you look at a lot of Mike Fiers' better games, and a lot of times it's when he can land that curveball for strikes. Rizzo is ready, so is Fiers. Rizzo 6 for 9 lifetime off Fiers with 3 extra base hits, including 2 homers. The 0-2, that's high and away. Fiers saw quite a bit of the Cubs when he was in the National League Central with the Brewers before being traded to the Astros at the deadline last season. 5 games, 4 starts against the Cubs in his career, a 3-1 record, and a 1.71 earned run average. The 1-2 to Rizzo. That's a curveball, and it misses high to even the count.
Just a little bit more adrenaline when you're the only game going on in the major leagues. You pitch that Sunday night baseball game, and you can feel it.
Rizzo ready. Open stance from the left side. Bryant off second with nobody out on the top of the first. Cubs with a 1-0 lead. Fiers with the high set. Now the 2-2. And Rizzo hits it foul and out of play off to the left up into the third deck.
Today's Vision brings you the umpire rotation. Mark Wegner is the home plate umpire. At first base, it's Quinn Walcott, C.B. Buckner at second, and crew chief Mark Carlson is the umpire at third. Visit today'svision.com.
Rizzo waggles the bat as he waits for Fiers. 2-2. That just missed. Maybe a bit outside. It's a full count.
I'm very surprised that Rizzo was able to lay off that pitch. Looked like a strike for such a long period of time. And he didn't even make a motion that he was going to swing. Wonder if he's picking up Fiers' pitches.
I'll mention has had really good numbers off Fiers in his career. The 3-2. And Rizzo golfs it pretty deep to right, but playable for Springer to his left, makes the catch. Bryant tagging, trying to get the third. The throw in by Springer is cut off, and Bryant moves to third base. He's there with 1 out on the fly out by Rizzo.
Set the defense for you. Out in the outfield, it's Rasmus, Marisnik, and Springer from left to right. On the infield, Gurriel's playing third base with Correa back at short. Altuve's at second, Gonzalez at first, and Evan Gattis doing the catching.
So 1 out with Bryant at third. For Jorge Soler, the designated hitter. Soler batting .246, .340 on base percentage, 10 homers, 28 RBIs. Astros will play their infield in, which gives you an idea of how they feel runs will be hard to come by tonight, with Arrieta going for the Cubs, and the Cubs already leading 1-0 here in the first. First pitch is low for a ball to Soler.
Little unique look by the Astros infielders, all 4 guys with white cleats for this evening's game.
One-zero pitch in the dirt, gets stopped by Gattis. It's a 2-ball and no strike count. 9 of the 16 pitches that Fiers has thrown have been balls.
Might take it just a little while. I mentioned being the Sunday night game when you know everybody's watching this game. For Fiers, take an inning or so to get settled in, feel normal again.
2-0. That's hit sharply right at Correa on 1 hop. He throws to first in time for the second out. Just what you're looking for with the infield in. Sharply hit ball right at one of the drawn-in infielders as Bryant has to stay put at third.
Correa going down to a knee to stay low on it. Very steady hands.
Good to see Carlos Correa back out there. Missed the last 4 games with that irritation in his left shoulder. Heard it diving for a ball in Cleveland on Monday. So 2 out with Brian at third for Ben Zobrist. Did not play yesterday. In left field tonight after playing second base Friday. First pitch. And that is a strike on the outside corner. Zobrist hitting .270. 10th in the National League with a .381 on base percentage. 14 homers and 66 runs batted in for the former Astros farmhand. 0-1. And that is a strike on the outside corner. Another fastball to make it 0-2.
Seems like he's locked in with his fastball. It's keeping it down at the knees. Good life on it.
2-strike pitch. Curveball, and that's hit right field deep to his right. Springer, he's there, makes the catch, and the inning is over. Zobrist hit him well, but Springer played him perfect with a 2.84 ERA in 27 starts. His 174 innings pitch is 8th. 115 hits. He's walked 67. That's 5th most in the NL. And he's 9th with 168 strikeouts. Best batting average against of any pitcher in the National League at 184. Lost his last start Saturday against the Giants. Gave up 3 runs, 2 earned, and 6 innings of work. It was his first loss in 6 starts.
He's got 4 pitches, the fastball, the curveball, the cut fastball, and the changeup. That fastball, 93, 94 miles per hour. And you look at his 4 pitches, maybe not one dominant pitch, but when you put them all together, some of the best stuff you'll see in the big leagues. All 4 pitches, very good quality.
George Springer will start it off for the Astros, hitting .258, .362 on base percentage, 26 homers, 75 RBIs. Springer 1 for 7 in this series. The first pitch by Arrieta, and it swung through for strike 1. 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Looked like it had some sink on it as well.
Adding to the deception of Arrieta and the quality of stuff is that he throws across his body. He steps right at the right-handed hitter.
The 0-1. That's low, a ball and a strike. Lefties hitting 187 off Arrieta. Righties hitting, or lefties hitting 181. Righties hitting 187. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Good breaking ball makes it 1-2. Arrieta from the Lone Star State. Went to high school in Plano. Played collegiately at TCU out in Fort Worth. First time he's ever faced the Astros in his career. The 1-2 to Springer. It's in the dirt with a breaking ball. So now the Cubs are the only team that Arrieta has not faced in his big league career, which started with the Baltimore Orioles. 4 seasons with Baltimore, never really quite put it together there, and then got traded to the Cubs in July of 2013. A deal that netted the Cubs, among others, Scott Feldman. 2-2 is low. And now a full counter. Actually netted the Orioles, Scott Feldman, I should say. Steve Clevenger, catcher, and Scott Feldman went to Baltimore in that deal, while Pedro Strop and Arrieta came over to the Cubs. 3-2. That's low, ball 4. Patient at bat by George Springer, and he's on with the leadoff walk.
Well, the walk rate is up for Arrieta, especially the second half of the season. So for the Astros, if they can remain patient, wait for a really good pitch to hit, that should pay dividends.
That is his 68th walk, which is already 20 more walks than he had all of last year when he won the Cy Young Award.
That was about 50 more innings, too, last year.
That's right. 229 innings a season ago. Here's Alex Bregman, the designated hitter, batting .272, .327 on base percentage, 8 homers, 31 RBIs. Maybe the hottest guy in the Astros lineup. First pitch, and it swung through for strike 1. Ball just kept running in on Bregman. Bregman, a 9-game hit streak, over which he's batting .390. Had a home run yesterday as part of a 2-hit game. I love how John Lackey described Bregman's home run yesterday. The starting pitcher for the Cubs said it was a bandbox shot out to right center. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. That throw down to first base by Ross, and not in time to get Springer, who dives back safely.
Well, the Cubs have plenty of catchers. David Ross, the 39-year-old behind the home plate in this evening's ball game. He's still the best thrower they have.
Arrieta gets back on the rubber as he looks in for the sign. You can run on Jake Arrieta 21 of 24 stealing bases off of him have been successful, and he does not have a pickoff. There goes Springer, the 0-2 that smacked foul over the screen, and it's 0-2 still.
It's like the Astros put the hit and run on, trying to open some things up. And you can run more hit and runs because the way the Cubs play defense on the infield, they rarely shift these days.
Yeah, you and I have talked about how you don't see as many hit and runs now with all the shifts teams do.
And what you're trying to do is open up a hole by one of those middle infielders covering the bag.
Snap throw over to first, and Springer dives back safely. George on the year with 9 steals in 19 attempts. Bregman windmills the bat around. He's ready. The 0-2. And that just missed low. A ball and 2 strikes.
The Cubs don't feel like they have to shift as much as a lot of teams because of the quality of their starting pitching and how much they're able to induce soft contact.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting what Joe Madden, the Cubs manager, had to say about that when you talked to him yesterday for Astro Launch about the low exit velocities that opposing hitters have against Cubs pitchers. Throw over to first, and Springer dives back safely once again.
And it makes sense. I mean, obviously, the Cubs feel that there's not a whole lot of hitters in their division that are straight pull hitters, but when you induce soft contact, you don't have to play the shift as much because you don't have to try to increase where the guy's going to hit the ball.
Cubs thinking about challenging that last pickoff attempt of Springer, and they probably shouldn't, and they won't. 1-2. Bounced it, and Bregman takes off, or Springer takes off for second, but the throw by Ross is in time. Did not get far from David Ross. Springer took the chance, but Ross able to throw him out. And that is the first out of the inning.
I'll tell you what, and you can even tell by that last pitch, Arrieta certainly thinking about Springer. And if the Astros continue to be aggressive, hopefully divide his attention.
That goes 2-4. Not a caught stealing, since Springer didn't take off until he saw the ball was in the dirt.
No problem with that. That was just a good play by Ross.
2-2 to Bregman. Couldn't hold up on a pitch downstairs. A feeble swing as he went about 2/3 of the way around, and there are now 2 outs in the inning. One thing to keep in mind with Arrieta also, with that ball in the dirt, only 2 pitchers have thrown more wild pitches than Arrieta has in the big leagues this year. One of those is Mike Fiers. Sonny Gray the other, as Arrieta has thrown 12 wild pitches this season. 2 out and nobody on for Jose Altuve, hitting .339. That leads the American League, third with a .401 on base percentage, 22 homers, tied for 10th with 92 RBIs. Leg kick and the pitch, and it's low for a ball. Altuve broke out of an 0 for 12 yesterday with a bunt base hit, but Jose came out of the game. He was DHing. He came out after 3 plate appearances, dealing with a stomach illness, but back in the lineup tonight. The 1-0. Ground ball softly hit up the middle to his left. The shortstop Russell, he has it, throws out Altuve, and the inning is over. Astros get a leadoff walk, but Arrieta faces the minimum, and after knees for strike 1.
Trails only the Astros' Carlos Correa for RBIs by a shortstop in the major leagues. Correa with a couple more than Russell's 88.
Curveball, and that's lined in the left, a base hit, and for the second straight inning, the Cubs get the leadoff man on.
Hey, fans, be sure to visit our radio website. It's astros.com/radio. You can download and stream our podcasts and our interviews that we have with the managers and with the players. Send the emails to radio@astros.com and visit astros.com/radio. Send some questions. We'll try to answer those later in the broadcast.
Russell at first, 5 for 6 in stolen bases this year. Javier Baez, the second baseman, the batter, hitting .268, .304 on base percentage, 13 homers, 49 RBIs. He started at shortstop yesterday. First pitch, and Baez hits it against the shift to the right of second. That's a base hit. Russell will go to third, and Baez is aboard. 3 infielders on the left side, and Baez was able to shoot that on the ground just to the right of the bag at second.
Just blocked it, just punched it the other way. Just an abbreviated swing to go against the shift, it appeared.
So the Cubs with more traffic, and they'll bring David Ross to the plate, their catcher. Ross batting .235. .352 on base percentage, 8 home runs, 28 RBIs. Started on Friday night, and John Lester was on the mound for the Cubs. That's who Ross always catches.
Got to guard against the potential bunt here. Joe Madden loves this play, the safety squeeze.
Gurriel, couple of steps behind third. Middle infield back. Gonzalez holds on the runner at first. First pitch to Ross, and that's at the knees for a strike. David Ross, well traveled. Started his big league career with the Dodgers. He's also played for the Pirates, Padres, Reds, Red Sox, Braves. 0-1. And that's driven out into right center field. Springer is going back. He's there, makes the catch. This will score one as Russell tags. Throw goes to second. It overshoots second, allowing Baez to get to second base. Sac fly and an RBI for David Ross, and it's 2-0 Cubs.
That was awesome base running by Javier Baez, the trail runner, tagging at first base, realizing Springer's momentum was taking him away from the throw. And he gets into scoring position and stays out of the potential double play department.
So Baez at second with one out for Albert Almora Jr. making his first appearance in this series. Almora hitting .262, .287 on base percentage, 2 homers and 9 RBIs, and 36 games with the Cubs this year. 6th overall pick in the draft in 2012 by the Cubs. Native of Hialeah, Florida, one of their top prospects. Gurriel even with third, same with Gonzalez at first. First pitch is on the inside corner for a strike. Almora making his big league debut in June. Hit .303 in 80 games at AAA Iowa this year. 0-1. Breaking ball in the dirt. Sliding to his right to stop it is Gaddis, and that keeps Baez at second.
It's a big stop. Can't let Baez to get to third base with less than 2 outs. Potentially saving the Astros a run if they can keep Russell from scoring, or Baez from scoring, rather.
Cubs lead it 2-0 in the top of the second. Fires with the 1-1. It's low, 2 balls and a strike, missed with the fastball. Cubs' magic number to clinch the National League Central is now down to 6, with the Cardinals losing today. And Chicago, they're off to St. Louis after this series, so they have a chance to clinch in St. Louis. 2-1. That's lined and caught by the third baseman Gurriel, and throws it away to second base, trying to double off Baez. Baez will get down to third. Well, Gurriel certainly had a shot, but not a good throw, and an error allows the runner to get to third, but there are 2 outs in the inning.
Well, the only way that Gurriel was going to be able to double up the runner at second base was to get rid of it as quickly as he could, so he couldn't clear a path to have a clear view for Altuve. Ended up just glancing off the base runner.
So 2 out with the runner at third, and Dexter Fowler will bat. He walked and scored in the first. So with the Cubs' magic number down to 6 and going to St. Louis after this, first pitch to Fowler. It's outside for a ball. Regardless of what happens in this game, the Cubs would have a chance to clinch in St. Louis. If they lose this game, they would have to sweep the Cardinals to clinch. The 1-0. That's hit foul back into the screen. And if the Cubs are able to win this game, then they would just need to win a couple of those games in St. Louis. The 1-1. That's in the dirt. Gets away from Gaddis to the backstop. Coming in is Baez. And the Cubs lead it 3-0. That is the Major League leading 17th wild pitch for Mike Fiers.
Just got underneath the glove of Gaddis. Didn't quite get it all the way down, and it snuck right underneath.
So that error by Gurriel proves to be costly. The 2-1 to Fowler. And that's lined into right. Springer racing over. Left to play that on a couple of hops. Fowler speeding for second. Springer firing it in. And Fowler slides in with a 2-out double. 23rd double of the year for Fowler.
I'm sure George would have loved nothing better than to throw out Fowler, his former teammate and former roommate, when Dexter was with the Astros a couple of years ago.
And that was when Springer first got to the big leagues. And Dexter Fowler, he got to be very close, as now Brent Strom will pay a visit to the mound. 33 pitches for Fiers, now working in the second inning. Gave up hits to the first two hitters. Certainly wasn't helped by the error by Gurriel, and did not help himself with that wild pitch.
He's only walked one. That was the leadoff batter of the ball game back in the first inning. But sometimes control and command are two different things, and he's been a little erratic with the command so far.
Brent Strom back to the dugout as Chris Bryant will stand in. He had an RBI double in the first inning. Right-hander delivers, and Bryant takes one on the inside corner. 91-mile-an-hour fastball. Astros starters have been better first two games against the Cubs than they had been the previous week and a half. 0-1, swing and a miss, good off-speed pitch, and it's 0-2. Colin McHugh getting the win yesterday. Joe Musgrove pitched great in a losing effort, getting beat by John Lester on Friday. The 0-2 to Bryant. In the dirt, and that was a check swing, and the ball made contact with the bat, so a foul ball. 0-2 still.
Back-to-back changeups. Bryant isn't recognizing those out of the hand of Fiers. He's put them in two good places.
3-0 Cubs in the top of the second. The 0-2 way high and inside. Bryant turns out of the way. Gaddis was flashing his glove up. He wanted it elevated, but not that far inside. Bryant back in the box. Fowler with the leadoff second. Fowler takes off for third. The pitch is hit in the air, shallow right. Going out now was Gonzalez. Has a play in short right, over by the line, makes the catch, a step into fair territory, and the inning draws to a close. But the Cubs pick up a couple of runs, and we head to the bottom of the second. Cubs 3, Astros. He's batting .274, .362 on base percentage, 19 homers and 90 RBIs for Correa, who comes in with a career best 12-game hit streak. Pitch on the way, and it's a fastball off the plate away.
Well, it's good to have him back out there sitting in that cleanup spot. Mentioned 90 RBIs. This is a very important member of this Astros team.
1-0 pitch, and there's a strike on the outside corner. Arrieta, deliberate wind, and the pitch. That's low.
Well, Arrieta's had a great time against American League teams this year in interleague play, especially against the American League West. He's pitched 3 games against teams in the Astros division, and he's only given up 2 runs in those 3 games. 22 innings pitched and an ERA of 0.82.
The 2-1 inside. Did Correa go around? He did, says first base umpire Quinn Wolcott. Wanted to hold up, but that ball just kept bearing in, and it's now a 2-2 count. Leg kick and the pitch, and Correa lines it into right field for a base hit. So don't play for 4 days and extend your hit streak to 13 games in your first plate appearance back. That's what Carlos Correa does.
Just like that. So easy for him, isn't it?
Certainly makes it look that way.
Here's the defense for the Cubs. Zobrist, Fowler, and Almora in the outfield from left to right. On the infield, Chris Bryant at third, Russell at short. Baez playing second base, third different infield position in this series. Rizzo's at first and David Ross catching.
Yuli Gurriel, the batter, hitting .339, .356 on base percentage, 2 homers, 7 RBIs in 17 games. Comes in with a 7-game hit streak. Pitch by Arrieta. And Gurriel takes one at the knees for a strike. Cubs have been very good at interleague play this year. So have the Astros. Astros 11-8 in interleague. This is the final interleague game of the season for both teams. All of the Astros' remaining games will be in the American League West. 0-1. That just missed. A little inside, a ball into strike. Cubs, meanwhile, they're 14-8 in interleague play, and the Astros win over the Cubs yesterday ended a 7-game win streak for Chicago in interleague play. Throw over to first base, and Correa dives back safely.
Dave Martinez, the bench coach, gives the signs to the catcher on the throws over to first base and such, but he's paying very close attention to all the base runners for the Astros, and for good reason. Arrieta easy to run on.
1-1. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball, and it's 0-2. Good curveball.
Very close confidant of Joe Madden. He was his bench coach with Tampa as well.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that when Madden became the Cubs manager before last season that he would take a throw over to first and Correa backstanding, that he might take a bunch of those Rays coaches that had been with him for 9 years over to Chicago with him, but the only one who made the trip was Dave Martinez. Gurriel ready for a 1-2. Here it is. Ground ball up the middle to his left. Russell, he fields the second for one. That's all they'll get. Two slowly hit to turn two. And Gurriel is on at first with one out.
Good decision by Baez just to stay on the second base bag after retrieving that little toss. Not to even attempt to throw to first base. Some guys with less experience would try to throw it and maybe throw it away.
So one out and one on for Evan Gattis, the Astros catcher. Gattis batting .245, .312 on base percentage, 24 homers, 59 RBIs. 3-0 Cubs in the bottom of the second. Arrieta delivers. That's low for a ball. Astros wearing their batting practice tops tonight like they do for Sunday home games. Astros across the front in orange trimmed in white. Numbers and names on the back in orange trimmed in white. Houston Astros logo patch on the left sleeve. The 1-0. It's at the knees for a strike. And that rainbow orange and yellow trim along the side panels, in homage to the rainbow jerseys the Astros wore much of the 70s and 80s. Wearing the white pants and the dark blue socks with the dark blue caps, or beg your pardon, with the orange caps with the dark blue bills with these dark blue jerseys. Grounded foul of the third baseline. And it's a ball and 2 strikes. Gattis broke his bat on that. Pitch in on his hand, so he's headed back to the dugout, and the Bat Boy will meet him on the way there. Cubs, they're wearing their blue tops for the first time in this series. A red C outlined in white on the left breast with a blue Cub in the middle of it. Names and numbers on the back with in red trimmed in white. Gray pants, dark blue socks, and the dark blue caps with these blue jerseys. Low 1-2. Breaking ball is low. These blue jerseys also have the National League logo patch on the right sleeve. The Cubs, a charter member of the National League in 1876, and they are the only charter member of the National League that's still around and still playing in their same city, which they started. The Braves were also a charter member of the National League. Throw over to first, and Gurriel dives back safely, but they moved from Boston to Milwaukee and now to Atlanta. Gattis ready for a 2-2. As Gurriel leads off first, Arrieta delivers, and that fastball just missed the outside corner, and it's a full count. Outfield straight away and fairly deep against the right-handed hitter. 3-2. Ground ball, weakly hit foul of the third baseline. Got that sinker again.
Evan trying to remind himself to stay back. Doesn't want to try to pull these balls. He's trying to think the other way. Use his strength to go the other way.
Arrieta works from the third base side of the rubber. Gurriel is going. The 3-2. Ground ball poked up the middle. Fielded by Russell. He throws to first in time for the out. So that kept the Astros out of the double play, sending Gurriel, who's now at second base with 2 out.
Astros down by 3 runs. You got to try to stay aggressive on those base paths. A lot of times you don't want to take the bat out of hitters' hands, but the only way you're going to scratch your way back into this game is to continue to send guys.
Now it's Colby Rasmus hitting .213, .290 on base percentage, 15 homers, 54 RBIs. One of 2 players currently on the Astros who has faced Arrieta before. Right-hander delivers, and Rasmus hits it over the screen. Rasmus 1 for 4 with a double and 2 strikeouts against Arrieta. Only other Astro who has seen him before who's on the active roster is Jake Marisnick. Cubs leading 3-0 in the bottom of the second inning. Gurriel at second base for the Astros with 2 out. Astros have gotten a leadoff man on in each of the first 2 innings against Arrieta. 0-1. That's inside. Ball into strike. Another great crowd on hand. Great crowds throughout this series. Of course, a lot of folks double dipping today, going to the Texans game earlier today and making their way to Minute Maid Park. 1-1. Curveball, and that is just off the plate away. And it's Houston and Chicago in both games. Texans beating the Bears this afternoon, and now the Astros and Cubs. So sports fans from both cities partaking this afternoon and evening. Arrieta's 2-1. Swing and a foul tip into the glove of Ross, and it's a 2-2 count. Astros with a sellout crowd yesterday, their 3rd sellout of the season. And had a great crowd here on Friday night as well, with close to 34,000. Gurriel edges off second. The 2-2 to Rasmus. Down and in, a full count. Astros certainly have seen their share of pitches against Arrieta here in the early going. 35 pitches working in the second. 16 balls, 19 strikes. Steve mentioned earlier about how the walk rate has spiked for Arrieta this year compared to where it was a season ago.
And his cut fastball's turned into more of a slider, so maybe that's part of the reason. A bigger break to it. Guys are able to lay off more easily.
3-2. And that is on the outside corner at the knees for strike 3. Got him with a breaking ball, and the inning is over. Second strikeout for Arrieta. Astros get a leadoff single but do not score, and we're through 2 innings. Time up. Mike Fiers with 38 pitches to the first 2 innings. Pitch to Rizzo, and that's down and in for a ball. Rizzo 6 for 10 off of Fiers' lifetime. The most at bats against this right-hander. 1-0. And that is in there for a strike. Letter high. 1-1. Cubs getting their 90th win of the season on Friday. First big league team to reach 90 wins this year. 1-1. Fastball's in there for a strike at the top of the zone. 1-2. Cubs won 97 games last year and finished 3rd in the NL Central, but good enough to get them into the wild card game where they beat the Pirates and won the division series against the Cardinals as the 1-2 is high.
97 games got them 3rd place.
That's how good that NL Central was last year. Still pretty good this year, but not nearly as competitive. Pirates have really struggled in the second half. Cardinals leading for one of the wild card spots as the 2-2 is hit foul and out of play left side. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Houston Astros radio network.
KBME Houston, an iHeart radio station.
This is Evan Gaddis. Sports Talk 790 is your home for Astros baseball.
Leg kick and the 2-2 to Anthony Rizzo. And that's chopped left side. Only infielder on that side, Gurriel. He charges, throws on the move in time to get Rizzo. And there is one out.
Nice play to his right. Gurriel had to charge that ball quickly to get Rizzo, who runs pretty well for a big guy. Still without a hit in this series.
So 1 out and nobody on for Jorge Soler, who grounded out his first time up. So with the Cubs winning 90 games this year, it is the first time the Cubs have won 90 or more games in back-to-back seasons since they did it 3 years in a row, back from 1928 to 1930. First pitch to Soler. There's a strike on the inside corner, 0-1. They only went to the postseason one of those years. Of course, that was back when you either won the league or you sat at home. 0-1. That's inside. Went to the 1929 World Series, which they lost to the Philadelphia A's 4-1. Cubs, it's been well documented, haven't been to a World Series since 1945. And haven't won one since 1908. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Wild cut and an off-speed pitch, and it's 1-2.
Change up, fastball in, then change up again. Perfect. Perfectly executed by Fiers.
The 1-2 to Soler. Curveball in the dirt. That World Series that the Cubs were last in was 1945 against the Detroit Tigers. It went 7 games. But the Tigers winning 4-3. It was kind of a unique format. You know, you have that 2-3-2 format now in terms of where the games are played. And they did it a little differently in 1945, though. The 2-2. And that's driven out in the left center field. Absolutely crushed. Rasmus is going back, and that's gone. Through the archway for Jorge Soler. He picks up his 11th home run of the year, and it's 4-0 Cubs.
They've scored in every inning so far in this ball game. Soler, a big, strong man, got all of it.
Now it's Ben Zobrist who lined out to right center his last time. So that 1945 World Series went the distance, went 7 games. They played the first 3 games of that World Series in Detroit, and the last 4 games of that World Series at Wrigley Field in Chicago. First pitch to Zobrist. That's high. They decided to do away with the 2-3-2 format because of World War II, and there were travel restrictions, so they changed it up. And even though the last 4 games were in Chicago, Tigers still able to prevail as the 1-0 is way high, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. It was the Tigers who the Cubs beat the last time they won the World Series in 1908. The second of back-to-back titles for the Cubs. 2-0 to Zobrist. Inside, Zobrist thought about going and moved his arms out of the way. He held on the swing. It's 3-0. Leg kick and the pitch. Missed high, and that's a 4-pitch walk to Zobrist. Second walk Fiers has allowed, and he'll bring up Addison Russell, who singled and scored in the second.
The Astros have won 11 of Fiers' last 15 starts, including 4 straight. Got a long way to go to get back into this one.
Fiers working from the first base side of the rubber. Outfield straight away against Russell. Pitch on the way, and that is on the inside corner for a strike. Astros welcome the Rangers to Minute Maid Park for a 3-game series starting tomorrow night. All 3 games, 7:10 first pitches, will be on the air each night with Astro Launch at 6:45. 0-1. Swing and a miss at a good elevated fastball in, and it's 0-2. Doug Fister against Martin Perez tomorrow night. Tuesday, Brad Peacock against A.J. Griffin and Joe Musgrove against Yu Darvish on Wednesday. And the Astros off Thursday before hitting the road for 6 in Seattle and Oakland. 0-2. That's high, and it's a ball and 2 strikes to Russell. That series with the Rangers into stretch of 13 straight games against first-place teams for the Astros. 4-5 over the first 9 games of this stretch, which also saw them play games at Arlington against the Rangers and at Cleveland. One, 2. High again, and it's 2-2 now to Russell. Cubs leading 4-0 with 1 out. And Zobrist at first base in the top of the 3rd. Two. Curveball lifted, shallow left field. Correa racing out, Rasmus racing in, no land between them. Down to second goes Zobrist, and the Cubs have gotten 3 straight to reach after Fiers retired the first batter of the inning. And now they have runners at first and second.
It didn't hit it hard, but hit it in a perfect spot. That got in on him. That pitch up and in. I was surprised that Russell even swung at it, let alone get a soft base hit, and the Astros will get activity in their bullpen now.
That's Yandel Gustave, first man up. 58 pitches now for Fiers. And Javier Baez will come to the plate. Baez singled and scored in the second. Leg kick and the pitch. And that's hit into the screen. Fastball down. 0-1. Baez with the red shoelaces and his dark blue cleats, wearing Cubs colors. Oh, 1 pitch. Squares and bunts through it. 0-2. They're trying to take advantage of Gurriel being back, but couldn't get it down.
Javier Baez playing second base tonight. He played third base in the first game of this series, shortstop in yesterday afternoon's game, and now second base. And that's one of Joe Madden's philosophies with young players. He likes them to play a lot of different positions because he thinks it takes their mind off the hitting so much. He thinks guys overthink things, and when they're thinking about playing a new position, just let their talents come out on the offensive end.
The 0-2. Ground ball up the middle, past Correa and into center field. Around third, Zobrist, and coming home. He will score as a throw to the plate is cut off. It's an RBI single for Baez, and the Cubs lead grows further as they now lead at 5-0.
Well, he wasn't going to get it anyway, but I think it's worth noting that Carlos Correa, reaching for that ball, didn't outstretch his arm. That's that left shoulder that's been giving him problems with inflammation. So he kept it pretty close to his body.
And Fiers may not have much more rope left as Gustave continues to warm in the Astros pen. 61 pitches for Fiers. And 2 runs home so far in this inning with David Ross standing in. He had a sac fly his first time. And now Gaddis will walk out to the mound to have a word with Fiers.
I believe that was the Cubs' first hit in this series with the runner in scoring position. Came into this game 0 for 17.
And now A.J. Hinch out of the dugout. And, yep, this is going to be it for Fiers. Done after 2 1/3 innings. It's time for a Geico call to the bullpen. What does it mean when Geico says just 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance? It means you probably should have gone to Geico.com. His first time.
A pretty cool day in baseball history. It was 50 years ago this very day that Nolan Ryan made his debut with the New York Mets. 50 years ago. Had a pretty good career.
Came up late in 1966. Wound up spending all of 1967 in the minors. Got back to the big leagues with the Mets in '68. And he didn't hang him up until several years after that, '93. First pitch to David Ross is a fastball in there for strike 1. Always loved the quote from Nolan Ryan where he said that his goal was to pitch 10 years in the big leagues so that he could qualify for the Major League pension the players get. And he surpassed that, 27 years. Ross ready for an 0-1. Gustave delivers, and that's hit in the air, right side, shallow. Going out, Gonzalez. Coming in is Springer. Marwin trying to make the over-the-shoulder catch. He does, bobbles it, and throws across. Not in time. Both runners will advance. Good heads-up base running by Baez, noticing second base was unoccupied.
Well, I'll tell you what, Addison Russell took off when that ball hit Marwin Gonzalez's glove the first time, but he didn't have it secured. And then when he secured it, he had already taken a couple of steps, so the Astros may want to check out on second base here.
Yeah, Gonzalez had it in his glove, popped out, and then caught it again.
There's no way he could have anticipated that. I think the Astros have a real chance to steal an out here.
It was a tremendous play by Marwin. And yeah, I think A.J. Hinch is trying to let Gaddis and Gustave know that they want to appeal play at second. You have to throw to the base first and get either the safe or out call from the umpire.
So Marwin's going to tell Gustave what he needs to do. He needs to get on the mound, step off the back of the rubber, and then throw to second base.
Yeah, you can't challenge unless you do that first and the umpire gives the safe sign. So Correa is over by second base, and he's the one who's going to receive this throw. And yep, Gustave will step off. He's going to throw to first. And we don't have a signal. All right, the home plate umpire just signaled safe. And so now A.J. Hinch can challenge if he so chooses. I think they want him to throw to second first, though, before they do.
That's right.
So Gustave will get back on the rubber. And imagine he'll step off once again. Yep. And now turns and throws to second. And the call is safe there. So now A.J. Hinch can challenge, and he's going to go to the home plate umpire, Mark Wegner, to let him know exactly what he's challenging here.
Yeah, and I think it's a better opportunity probably to get Addison Russell, who is going from second to third. Because in my eyes, when I was watching the play, it looked like he had taken off early.
All right, so A.J. Hinch went out to Mark Wegner, and doesn't look like a challenge is forthcoming here. So no challenge for the Astros. That's interesting. All right, so Russell's at third, Baez at second. There are 2 outs in the inning, and Albert Almora Jr., the batter, he lined out to third his first time. Gustave working from the first base side of the rubber, delivers. And Almora lifts it out in the center field. Marisnick started back, now racing in, headlong dive, can't get it, and it goes behind him. 2 runs are going to score as Russell and Baez both come in. It's a bloop single for Albert Almora, and the Cubs lead is 7-0. Marisnick's first step was back, and that cost them a shot at making that play.
Center fielders will get fooled on that a lot. It was a big aggressive swing by Almora, but off the end of the bat. And the ball just didn't carry, and by that time, Marisnick couldn't catch up to it. Everything going wrong for the Astros here.
Both of those runs charged to Fiers. So the book closed on him. Fiers charged with 7 runs in 2 1/3 innings. And now it's Dexter Fowler, who has walked and doubled, has also scored a run. 1 for 1. 3 infielders on the right side against a switch hitter batting left. First pitch fastball is on the inside corner. Astros, with the Orioles winning today and the Blue Jays losing, right now sit 3 games out of that final wild card spot in the American League. 0-1. That's down and in. Orioles and Blue Jays tied atop the wild card standings. The Tigers are now 2 back. And the Yankees, who finally lost today, they lost for the first time in 8 games this afternoon to Tampa Bay. Yankees are 2 back as well for that wild card spot. 1-1. That's low. 2 balls and a strike to Fowler. 4 runs home in the inning thus far for the Cubs. Gustave trying to stop the bleeding. Delivers a 2-1. It's off the plate away.
You don't want to face the guy on deck.
That would be Mr. Bryant. As Gustave will go to the rosin bag on the back of the mound for a moment. Fowler certainly will make you throw him strikes. Here's a 3-1. Swing and a miss. Just blew that fastball by him at 97 miles an hour and a full count.
And that was a big time challenge. Type of challenge you want to make to the leadoff hitter with Chris Bryant on deck.
Almora will be going with the pitch. Gustave brings the hands together. Now the delivery. And Fowler hits it over the screen. Another fastball, this one at 98 miles an hour. Gustave certainly has been impressive in his first go-round in the big leagues this year. Very good year at AAA Fresno. His first year at AAA. Another 3-2. And that missed inside, ball 4, and the Cubs have 2 on. With 2 out for Chris Bryant, the 9th man to bat in the inning. Bryant has an RBI double. He's also popped out 1 for 2. Cubs leading 7-0 in the top of the 3rd. Good speed on the bases with Almora at second and Fowler at first, and now Gustave will step off and look Almora back. Bryant is ready. So is Gustave. Throw down to second base, and they almost got Almora. Altuve was standing on the bag calling for the ball. And Almora just does get back, it appears.
That tag applied on the shoulder of the base runner, Almora, giving him an extra 2 feet to reach toward the bag. If he could have gotten that tag down closer toward the bag, he could have gotten him.
A.J. Hinch trying to decide whether or not the Astros will challenge. Bench coach Trey Hillman on the phone. And they decide to play on. Bryant is ready. So is Gustave. Right-hander delivers. And that's a fastball strike on the outside corner.
98 miles per hour on that last fastball from Gustave.
Bryant, a native of Las Vegas, played collegiately at the University of San Diego, where he was Baseball America's College Player of the Year in 2013 when he hit a school record 31 home runs. Oh, 1 pitch. Hit foul. Goes to the backstop after getting a piece of Gaddis, and it's 0-2.
It looks like his right arm is limp. Mark Wagner, home plate umpire, giving him a moment, brushing off the home plate. Talk about 31 homers by Chris Bryant at the collegiate level. That's unheard of these days with those new bats that they use. It's not the same old aluminum bats that used to go so far in years past.
Yeah, that year, 2013, he led Division I baseball with the 31 home runs, also led in runs scored and in walks. Bryant back in the box. Here comes the 0-2. And that's hit foul and out of play off to the right and into the 3rd deck.
It was about 6 or 7 years ago that college baseball initiated using the BB core bats, those aluminum bats, and they don't have the same thump that the old ones had.
They even sound completely different.
Sound like a wooden bat almost.
Yep.
31 homers, that's impressive. His dad was a minor league player, Mike Bryant, in the system with the Boston Red Sox. He was a pitcher.
Runners lead off first and second. The 0-2. Breaking ball on the inside corner for strike three. Hadn't seen the slider until then, and Bryant goes down looking as the inning comes to an end. But the Cubs bat around and score 4 times and through 2 and right-hander delivers. And there's a strike on the outside corner. This game started off as a matchup between the two pitchers who had thrown 3 of the last 4 no-hitters thrown in the major leagues. Between Fiers and Arrieta, 0-1. That's low. Fiers now out of the game after 2 1/3 innings. No-hit the Dodgers August of last year. Arrieta with a no-hitter last season as well on Sunday Night Baseball, as a matter of fact, against the Dodgers. 1-1. That's lined and caught by the second baseman. Baez going to his right. He caught that just before it hit the ground for the first out. Arrieta threw his no-hitter 9 days after Mike Fiers' no-hitter. Jake Arrieta's coming at the Dodgers. So both of them with no-hitters over the Dodgers, and then Arrieta throwing a no-hitter in April against the Cincinnati Reds. So no hitters in back-to-back seasons for Arrieta. First pitch to Marisnick is inside for a ball. Jake Marisnick batting .209, .256 on base percentage, 5 homers and 15 RBIs. 1-0. Grounded foul up the third baseline, 1-1. The only other no-hitter during that stretch that wasn't thrown by Fiers or Arrieta was by Max Scherzer last season for the Nationals. Here's the 1-1. That's a strike on the outside corner. 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Leg kick and the pitch. Curveball bounce left side deep in the shortstop's hole. Backhanded by Russell. Long throw across, and it's in time. Russell about as good as they get defensively at short and showed off his arm there. 2 out.
Yeah, doesn't have the strongest arm in the world. He's had some shoulder problems, but he gets rid of it quickly, trying to make up for it. He knew he had to with Marisnick running.
So 2 out and nobody on for George Springer, who walked in the first inning, but then was put out trying to get to second on a ball in the dirt. Pitch on the way, and Springer hits it over the screen and into the second deck. Springer with those blue and orange cleats, along with the orange batting gloves. He's ready for an 0-1. Here it comes. And that's lifted right field fairly deep. This backs up Almora, still going back on the warning track. Makes the catch a step from the wall. Springer gave it a ride to the opposite field, but the ballpark able to hold it as Arrieta retires. Cubs 7-0 over the Astros. And here's Steve Sparks.
Thanks, Robert. Well, the Cubs scored 1 run in the first, RBI double by Chris Bryant. They scored 2 runs in the second, and then 4 runs in the third inning. So they're doubling their output every inning so far. See if Yandel Gustave can do something about that. Anthony Rizzo will lead things off for the Cubs, the only guy in the order who hasn't done something productive yet. He's 0 for 2. Batting from the left side, so the Astros with 3 guys on the right side of the infield as Gustave out of the stretch throws the first pitch slider in there for strike 1. Mike Fiers done after 2 1/3 innings, gave up 7 runs. Gustave the second pitcher. Astros starting pitching, despite the last 2 games in this series pitching well, still have had a rough September. There's a line drive single to right field for Rizzo, so he checks in with a productive at bat. He's 1 for 3, and with one runner on first base, here comes Jorge Soler. Soler 1 for 2, a home run back in the third inning, a solo shot, his 11th of the season. He's a .290 hitter on fastballs, and he got a fastball back in the third. Cubs lead this one 7-0. Corner infielders for the Astros are pinched toward the middle. As Gustave comes set right at the belt. First pitch, swings and fouls that one. That one dribbling back to the backstop. Cubs bat boy scampers across, hustling. That's Jake. That's former Astro Pat Listash's stepson, the bat boy for the Cubs tonight. 0-1 to Soler. Big guy from the right side, takes one inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. The Astros are trying to pound him in with those fastballs. Cubs have lost 3 of the last 4 games coming into this one. Joe Madden trying to rest a lot of guys, thinking about the playoffs. There's a slider, catches the outside corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes. We've seen a different lineup every game so far, but especially his older players, the veteran type players, trying to get them off their feet every few days or so he can move guys around and play them in different positions, keep everybody fresh for the postseason. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. He takes it outside. 2-2, missed with the slider. Marwin Gonzalez holding the runner at first base. The Astros get a chance to get Alex Bregman off his feet today. He's the DH. So Gurriel at third base. Here's the 2-2 pitch. It misses low. Missed with the fastball at 97 miles per hour. Cubs 7 runs on 9 hits. Astros no runs on just 1 hit off of Jake Arrieta. And a base hit by Carlos Correa with 2 strikes to lead off the second inning. That's it. Here's the pitch. It swung on and missed. Strike 3. Second strikeout of the ball game for Gustave. There's 1 out. Today's health tip is brought to you by Houston Methodist Cancer Center. 1 of 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer just this year. Houston Methodist recommends talking to your doctor about scheduling an annual mammogram starting at the age of 40 or sooner if there is a history of breast cancer in your family. Visit HoustonMethodist.org today. Houston Methodist, their leading medicine. Left-handed hitting Ben Zobrist to the plate. He's flied out and walked. He scored after walking last inning. First pitch, he takes it on the inside corner for strike 1. Zobrist, when he stands in there and the pitcher's getting ready to throw, he's jiggling that bat around really quickly. Different from any hitter I've ever seen. Moving around quickly, awaiting the pitch right by his left shoulder. Takes a slider in there for a strike, so 0-2. The runner on first. Cubs lead at 7-0. Infield over on the right side. 3 guys on the right side. Gurriel, the third baseman, he's playing where a shortstop normally does. Gaddis sets inside. Here's the 0-2 pitch, and it gets away from Gaddis off the glove and to the backstop as Rizzo able to jog to second base. Not sure how they're going to score that. A fastball inside. Gaddis tried to backhand it, but it went off the end of his catcher's glove. So runner on second now with 1 out. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ben Zobrist. Gustave checks the runner, now delivers. It's a foul ball, a 1 hopper over to the Astros dugout, and it skipped off fans all the way into the seats. Looked like it caromed off about 5 sets of hands till getting to about the 20th row. So the count remains 1-2. They did rule that a wild pitch for Rizzo to go to second. So 1-2 still to Zobrist. Here's the pitch, and it's fouled off to the left this time. This one reaches the third deck. So with all these foul balls, Mark Wegner, the home plate umpire, will get a few new ones. Cubs, including their last game in Milwaukee before coming to Houston, just scored 4 runs in their last 3 games combined. Certainly making up for lost time in this one. Here's the 2-strike pitch, and it's a 1 hopper to Altuve, a shot, and he's able to jog halfway over to second base and lob one to Marwin Gonzalez. Gonzalez needed a little time to get to the bag, so Altuve jogged part of the way there. So it's a 4-3 put out. There's 2 outs with Rizzo going over to third base. And Addison Russell will be the batter. He's had a great day at the plate. He's 2 for 2. A couple of singles and 2 runs scored as well. Shortstop for the Cubs. 246 hitter on the season, 19 homers and 88 RBIs. Outfield's playing deep with Russell at the plate. First pitch slider. It's in there for strike 1, right on the outside corner. Russell, not a very big guy, probably about 5'10", 180 pounds tops. Put together pretty well, but a very whippy swing. Get that barrel through there. Here's the 0-1 slider. This one misses way outside. 1 ball and a strike. So with Fiers line in the book, the Astros starting pitchers 8.64 ERA in the month of September now. Makes it really tough on this offense. The 1-1 is belted to left. It's got no chance of staying in here. That's onto the train track in left field, and Russell with that home run. It's a 2-run homer, now has 90 RBIs on the season. Puts the Cubs up 9-0. Well, it's a no-doubter. Right in the wheelhouse of this powerful swing from the shortstop. Slider that didn't do a whole lot, and he barreled it up. So the Cubs have scored in every inning so far. 1-2-4-2 as it looks on the scoreboard. Lead this one 9-0 on 10 hits. And it's Javier Baez's turn, who's 2 for 2. A couple of singles, including an RBI single in the third. Second baseman takes a big swing at the first pitch and comes up empty. Astros infielders overshifted to the left side this time. The right-handed hitter. Astros' first chance to play the Sunday night baseball game since opening day 2013. That one gets away from Gaddis. That slider missing in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike to Baez. David Ross is on deck, the catcher. Baez sways back and forth as he awaits the pitch. Gustave delivers and misses low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike now to Javier Baez, who has 50 RBIs himself. Baez with the protection that runs across his left cheek, that front cheek that extends from his ear flap. Probably been hit by a pitch somewhere along the line. The 2-1 is fouled in and out of the glove of Gaddis. It's 2-2. Cubs lead at 9-0. We're in the top of the 4th with 2 outs. Another good crowd on hand here at Minute Maid Park. A lot of Cubs fans. You see a lot of royal blue shirts. They do travel well, especially when the team is good. And they're certainly good. 39 games above 500 coming into this one. Here's a swing and a miss. Went after a slider low and away, and Baez mercifully goes down on strikes to end the 4th inning. The Cubs pick up 2 on the mound. Hands together as he looks in for the sign. Now the windup. The big leg kick delivers the first pitch, and it bounces to his catcher for ball 1. Cubs with 10 hits already through the first 4 innings. The Astros have just scratched 1 out so far. Arrieta, of course, very stingy. The 1-0 pitch is inside. 2 balls and no strikes.
You know, when you have the year like Arrieta did last year, winning the Cy Young Award, had a 1.77 earned run average, won 22 games. Obviously, that sets the bar a little higher.
Here's the 2-0 pitch. Is fouled right back into the face mask of the home plate umpire Mark Wegner, and that jelly-legged him.
He takes off that mask, was looking at the front bars to make sure those were intact as David Ross talking with him. Looks like he's going to be okay. But obviously when you have a year like Arrieta had last year, sets the bar a little higher and sometimes leads to unreasonable expectations. And if you've been following the Cubs at all this year and their coverage, and you read some of the stuff that's been written about Arrieta, hear some of the things that have been said about Arrieta, it's almost been like, well, he's not posting an ERA of 1.77 again this year, so something must be wrong. But may not be quite as good as he was last year, but still really good.
Here's the 2-1 pitch to Bregman. That's a fastball. That's hit pretty well. Right field. Loping back is Almora, the right fielder, and he puts it away just in front of the warning track for the first out. Well, last year, what Arrieta was able to do is he took no hitters through 5 innings. It seemed like the last 2 months of the season, almost every game.
Yeah.
Here's Altuve. He grounded out his first time up. But a very hard worker came over to the Orioles team, and the pitching coach, Chris Bosio, basically challenged him. Hey, I want you to be a leader. Start acting like it. Here's a fastball, and that's a little bit outside.
Yeah, you talk about that second half Arrieta had last year. He had a .41 ERA in the second half. That's the lowest in baseball history. And also went 11-0.
Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that ball's ripped hard left field, and that is out of here. Altuve. 23rd home run of the season for Jose puts the Astros on the board. It's 9-1.
Now 9 hits away from his 3rd straight 200-hit season. And that'll inject some life into the crowd. 93rd RBI for Jose.
And that barely even got higher than the wall in left field, but it carried.
Yeah, I thought that might hit off the very top.
And that had to feel good for Jose. 93 RBIs on the season as well. So the Astros on the board, and A.J. Reed's going to bat now for Carlos Correa. The Astros down, I would imagine, just to make sure that Correa doesn't do anything else to irritate his left arm. So A.J. Reed, Correa ends up 1 for 1 in the ball game. That homer by Altuve, our Honda drive of the game, brought to you by your Greater Houston Honda dealers. First pitch to Reed, swings and misses.
Michael Feliz is getting ready in the Astros bullpen. Looks like he'll come on next inning.
Reed, big guy from the left side. Arrieta's breaking ball, and that's in there. 0-2. Well, Arrieta, you can tell. You just look at him. You can tell he's in great shape, and he's a workout freak. I mean, he does yoga. He does Pilates. Here's the 0-2, and that breaking ball misses low. Matter of fact, his second year at TCU, they had to mandate for him not to lift anymore. He got so big that he lost his control completely. He certainly carries a fire on the mound. Here's the 1-2. Fastball in there for strike 3. Right on the inside corner, that 2-seamer. And there's 2 outs now in the inning for Arrieta. That's his 3rd strikeout of the ball game.
Looked like that Reed thought it was going to be inside, but came back over the plate.
So Correa out. A.J. Reed will come in probably to play first base, and Marwin will slide over. So 2 outs in the inning now for Yuli Gurriel. Headed to a fielder's choice his first time up. First pitch, and he takes it low.
And like you said, Steve, hopefully with Correa, just precautionary with given the score of the game.
Yeah, total speculation. I mean, I hope he didn't irritate it, but I didn't see anything where he would have. There's a swing and a miss at a breaking ball, 1-1.
Did have the one ball that he dove for up the middle, but looked okay on that.
Yeah, looked like he protected it on that slide. Didn't really reach out for it. Cubs lead this one 9-1. That curveball misses low. Arrieta with a jet black beard and very intense eyes. Here's the windup. The 2-1 pitch to Gurriel is tipped foul. Counts 2-2 now as Arrieta jogs to the ball to throw it out of play. Evan Gattis is on deck for the Astros. They're certainly one of the most lopsided games the Astros have played in a while. Played a lot of close ones,
including the first two of this series.
Gurriel coils as he awaits the pitch. Here's the 2-2 pitch. It misses outside, 3-2. Certainly looks to be a very professional hitter, Gurriel. Looks like his approaches to stay pretty much up the middle, which keeps him on the ball very well. And recognizes pitches out of the hand seemingly very early. Here's the 3-2. That ball's hit hard to the shortstop. A 2-hopper to Russell. Stays toward the ground, but he gobbles it up and throws out Gurriel by a step and a half. And that'll do it for the Astros here in the fourth. They get a one-out home run by Jose Altuve.
4.77 ERA in 42 games, 60 and a third innings, 52 hits, 22 walks, 90 strikeouts. League batting .227 against Feliz. Last pitch Thursday in Cleveland, giving up a run in an inning of work, and the Astros certainly would love for Feliz to eat up some innings here. Mike Fiers not making it out of the third. Yandel Gustave throwing the last inning and 2/3. As Feliz will face Ross, Almora, and Fowler.
Well, it's a chance for a lot of people around America to see Michael Feliz maybe for the first time. This guy figures to be a real prominent member maybe of the starting rotation for the Astros next year. Great fastball, mid to upper 90s. Good slider that's developed very well this year. He wants to go to winter ball this winter in Dominican Republic, his home country, and develop a changeup to have that third pitch that a starter typically needs.
David Ross will lead it off for the Cubs. Sac fly and a foul out. Also, Marwin Gonzalez is now playing shortstop. And A.J. Reed is now at first base for the Astros. Reed pinch hit for Correa in the bottom of the fourth inning. Correa's first game back after missing 4 games with shoulder inflammation. First pitch to Ross, and that's popped foul, and now to play behind home for strike one. So Yandel Gustave giving up runs for the first time since his big league debut. Hadn't been scored upon his previous 6 games. Giving up 2 runs in an inning and 2/3 on the 2-run home run by Addison Russell. Also allowed 2 runners inherited from Fiers to score. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Got that by Ross at 97 miles an hour, and it's 0-2.
Just a beautiful delivery when you watch Michael Feliz, the way he reaches out toward home plate. When he lets his arm catch up with his body, it looks effortless.
2-strike pitch, and that's popped foul again and out of play behind home. 0-2 still. First meeting between these two teams since 2013. Cubs took a series from the Astros at Wrigley Field that year, an interleague series. Astros' first year in the American League. The 0-2 to Ross. Swing and a miss. Struck him out on a good slider. Showed him a bunch of fastballs. Couldn't connect with the breaking ball. There's one out.
That was a dominating sequence that David Ross just saw. Never really had a chance on any of those.
Here's Albert Almora. 2-run single in the third. It's 1 for 2. Cubs with 10 hits in this ball game. Pitch on the way. And there's a strike on the outside corner. First pitch slider. Almora just 22 years old. Oh, 1. There's a strike on the inside corner.
He's always been the youngest guy in each league that he's come up through the Cubs system. And he's really hung in there well at each step of the way. He's had a very eventful summer.
0-2 was smacked foul and out of play off to the right.
He was set to get married when he was in Des Moines playing AAA baseball this year. And just as he was set to get married, he got called up to the big leagues. So got settled in. He and his bride finally set the date, got married in Chicago. The next day, he got sent back down to AAA.
0-2. Breaking ball in the dirt. Well, that big league salary will pay for some weddings. Almora, 6th overall pick in the 2012 draft. Carlos Correa was picked 1st overall in that draft. Byron Buxton 2nd by the Twins. Mike Zunino went 3rd to the Mariners. Kevin Gossman 4th to Baltimore. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Almora down on strikes. Back-to-back strikeouts for Feliz. 2 outs. Kyle Zimmer, pitcher from the University of San Francisco, went 5th in that draft to Kansas City, and then it was Almora going 6th overall in 2012. 2 out and no one on for Dexter Fowler. Leadoff man for the Cubs has reached all 3 times. 2 walks, a double, and a run scored. 9-1, Cubs lead it in the top of the 5th.
Talking about the Dexter Fowler trade the last couple of days where the Astros got Dan Straley and Luis Valbuena. It's good to see Luis Valbuena around the team this homestand.
First pitch is at the knees for a strike. Valbuena out for the year after undergoing surgery. Their tendon in his hamstring.
Fits in very well with this Astros team.
0-1. Bounced in the dirt.
Kind of missed the bat flips, too.
Fowler ready. Starts with the bat on his left shoulder as he waits for Feliz. Here's the 1-1. Bouncer right side into the shift. Reed can't get it. Altuve bobbles it. Now throws the first just in time to get the out with Feliz covering. Dexter Fowler pointing toward the Astros dugout, or to the Cubs dugout rather, wants Joe Madden possibly to challenge this. So let's hold the phone here, see if a challenge is forthcoming. As Fowler thought he had beaten that out. Just out of the reach of A.J. Reed. Altuve bobbled it for a moment, then threw to first. And no challenge will be forthcoming, as looking at replay, pretty clear that Fowler was out. 1-2-3 inning for Feliz. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Cubs 9, Astros 1.
Floor it, punch it, hit it. Put the pedal to the metal.
It is over. Here comes the 0-1. Breaking ball. And that missed inside, a ball into strike. In Detroit this afternoon, Orioles beat the Tigers 3-1. Michael Bourne and Jonathan Scope with home runs for the Orioles in that game. Chris Tillman getting the win. Coming off the DL, the 1-1 is low and away. Justin Verlander the loss in that contest. Red Sox beat the Blue Jays 11-8 in Toronto. Jackie Bradley Jr., Hanley Ramirez, David Ortiz all homered for Boston. 2 home runs for Toronto's Edwin Encarnacion, who now has 39. Troy Tulowitzki, his 23rd. And Gaddis lifts this one out in the left center, hit pretty well. On the run is Zobrist, and he runs it down. Then Zobrist going into the left center field gap, taking away extra bases from Gaddis for the first out.
Pretty good for a natural infielder. Can play all over the field and play them all pretty well.
Now it's Colby Rasmus, struck out looking his first time. So with the Orioles winning over the Tigers and the Blue Jays losing, Baltimore and Toronto are tied. First pitch to Rasmus, and that's hit back into the screen. They're tied for the lead in the wild card standings. The Astros sit 3 games behind them. Yankees saw their 7-game win streak end today. Rays beat them 4-2 behind Matt Andriese. 0-1 to Rasmus. It's off the plate away. Home runs for Tampa Bay's Corey Dickerson, Logan Forsythe, and Brad Miller. Chase Headley went deep for New York, as the Yankees are now 2 games out of the wild card lead. 1-1. Swing and a miss, a ball and 2 strikes. Marlins shut out the Dodgers 3-0 in Miami. Jose Urena getting the win for Miami over Kenta Maeda. A.J. Ramos got his 34th save. 1-2 to Rasmus. Down and in. Reds all over the Pirates, winning 8-0 today behind Brandon Finnegan. Ryan Vogelsong the loser. Cincinnati scoring 5 runs in the second. Mets 10-3 winners in Atlanta. Seth Lugo continues to impress, getting the win for New York. 2-2 to Rasmus. That's down and in. 3 balls and 2 strikes. I was reading an article earlier today about Seth Lugo, who didn't exactly post great numbers at AAA Las Vegas, but the Mets needed a starter, so he got the call. And Lugo said he's excited to be in the big leagues, not only because, well, he's in the big leagues, but also because he can finally pay off his student loans. Here's the 3-2 to Rasmus. Dribbled softly left side. Arrieta on the field and on the grass. Throws the first on the hop. Nice stretch by Rizzo to get the out. 2 away.
Not only doing the splits, but had to reach far to his right. That ball bounced into the glove of Rizzo. What a play.
So 2 out and nobody on for Marwin Gonzalez, who lined out to the second his first time. Home runs in that game in Atlanta for the Mets. Yoenis Cespedes, his 30th. His was a grand slam. James Loney also went deep. Brandon Snyder homered for Atlanta. Marwin Gonzalez stands in now. Switch hitter batting from the left side. Nationals beat the Phillies 3-2 in D.C. Gio Gonzalez, his 11th win of the year over Adam Morgan. Mark Melanson the save. First pitch is low. Tommy Joseph and Freddie Galvis with home runs for Philadelphia. Indians beat the Twins 7-1 in Minnesota. Corey Kluber over Jose Barrios. Carlos Santana, his 31st home run for the Indians. 1-0. Down and in. Gonzalez held on the swing. Royals shut out the White Sox 2-0 at U.S. Cellular Field. Ian Kennedy over Chris Sale in that ball game. Eric Hosmer and Kendrys Morales with home runs for Kansas City as Wade Davis got his 24th save. 2-0. And that's lined into right field. Late break coming in. Headlong dive. Almora, and he makes the catch. Couple of defensive gems. 3 defensive gems to get the 3 outs in this inning for the Chicago Cubs. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Arrieta. We head now to the 6th inning. Cubs 9, Astros 1.
On paper, summer is almost over. On asphalt, that's an entirely...
Mariners win in Oakland 3-2. Steve Cishek, the winner in relief, as Seattle won it with a run in the 9th. Mike Zunino, his 11th home run for Seattle. Chris Bryant 1 for 3 with an RBI double. Hoyt delivers, and Bryant hits it high in the air, shallow right field. Coming in now is Springer. He's waiting for it, and he makes the catch for out number 1. Giants beat the Diamondbacks 5-3 in Arizona. Matt Moore over Zach Greinke. Denard Span homering for the Giants. Wellington Castillo went deep for Arizona. And it took him 10 innings, but the Rockies edged the Padres 3-2 in San Diego. Jake McGee got the win in relief. Kevin Quackenbush, the loser for San Diego, as the winning run scoring in the top of the 10th inning on a Mark Reynolds home run for Colorado. First pitch to Rizzo, and that's in there for a strike. Charlie Blackmon also homered for the Rockies in that game. And that is your scoreboard, brought to you by Centerpoint Energy. Here at Minute Maid Park, Cubs lead the Astros 9-1 with 1 out and no one on for Chicago in the top of the 6th. 3 infielders on the right side. Hoyt works from the first base side of the rubber and delivers. Swing and a miss. May have foul tipped that ball, went all the way to the backstop, and it's 0-2. Outfield straight away against the left-handed hitter. 2-strike pitch. Swing and a miss. Chased a breaking ball in the dirt, and Rizzo down on strikes. 2 out.
The split-fingered fastball from James Hoyt. Rizzo had a hard time picking up any type of spin on that one. Looked like the fastball out of the hand of Hoyt. He swung at a couple of bad ones.
Jorge Soler 1 for 3. He homered in the 3rd. 4 pitches, 4 strikes for Hoyt. Delivers. And that's on the inside corner. Set at the letters, the 0-1. Breaking ball missed inside. Next to last homestand for the Astros. It continues with 3 against the Rangers tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Then on the road after an off day Thursday. 3 in Seattle over the weekend. 3 in Oakland next week. 1-1. Breaking ball on the inside corner, and it's 1-2. And then the Astros' final homestand against the Angels and Mariners starts on the 22nd, a 7-game homestand for the Astros, who end the season with 3 in Anaheim. One-two to Soler. Swing and a miss. Soler goes down on strikes. A 1-2-3 inning for Hoyt, as he and Feliz have combined to retire the last 6 Cubs in a row. And we're through 5.5. Arrieta on the rubber. Even when working out of the windup, doesn't face toward home plate to start his delivery. First pitch is grounded up the third baseline. Nice backhand by Bryant, sliding on one knee. Gets up and throws out Marisnick. Outstanding play by Chris Bryant at third for the first out.
Good reactions to his backhand and a good accurate throwing arm. You know, Marisnick just a couple of weeks ago had that average up to 230, maybe a little bit above that. And I was thinking, man, just 10 points more, and you're thinking that's good enough. If you're Jake Marisnick providing that type of defense, you take 240.
Oh, absolutely. George Springer, the batter, he walked in the first, flied out in the third. Arrieta's 75th pitch, and Springer looks at a strike on the inside corner. You know, so often when you have a guy struggling at the big league level, maybe a highly thought of prospect, as that pitch comes way inside and hits Springer, and he'll head down the first base. That got him on the left arm.
Just a breaking pitch that got away from Arrieta, and it looked like it got Springer in a unfunny spot somewhere near that left elbow.
And you can see him just holding that arm limp by his side as he's waiting for feeling to get back in that arm. It appears like he will be okay.
Well, it looks like the left wrist. He's still holding it. Is that the wrist he got hit last season? Perhaps Edinson Volquez of the Royals hit him and knocked him out of action for quite a while.
So Springer at first base, 1 out for Alex Bregman, who's 0 for 2. A strikeout and a flyout. Pitch on the way. In the dirt. Nice stop by Ross on a ball that was really spiked by Arrieta. Ball 1. Brady Rogers warming in the Astros bullpen. Looks like he'll have the 7th inning. But, you know, a lot of times when you have a young pitcher, highly thought of guy, struggling at the big league level, and, you know, maybe it's been 2 or 3 years, and it's common for fans to say, man, why are they still sticking with this guy? 1-0. That's low. And you can certainly understand Orioles fans thinking that about Arrieta during his 4 years in Baltimore. He was their opening day starter in 2012 and wound up finishing that year in the minors. Had an ERA over 6. Then wound up getting traded the next year. The 2-0. That's hit foul into the screen. And the thing about Arrieta, he always had a good arm. Had some quality pitches, just didn't have that consistency. And, you know, then he goes over to the Cubs and figures it out. Now, not to say that this would have happened had he stayed with the Orioles, but, you know, it's just a case in point of why teams are loath to give up on guys with good arms who maybe haven't put it all together yet. The 2-1. And Bregman drills this one to left field. Zobrist going back. He leaps. It's over his head and off the wall. Springer on his way to third base. He's around third. Springer will score. Bregman into second with an RBI double, and it's 9-2 Cubs. Bregman now has a 10-game hit streak.
And a 25-game on-base streak. This loud contact from Alex Bregman night after night. He can barrel it up.
Zobrist leapt for that ball at the wall, and not only did he not catch it, but then it took a sharp carom off that wall, went a good 20 feet toward the infield, and Zobrist had to go chase it down, and by then Springer was able to score easily. 12th double and 32nd RBI for Bregman, and here's Altuve, who homered his last time. And now we'll get some bodies getting up in the Cubs bullpen. First pitch, and Altuve lines this in the left field. That gets down for a base hit. Bregman had to hold to make sure it wasn't caught. He gets to third, and Altuve is on with his second hit.
Seeing Eye Single is brought to you by Today's Vision. With 30 locations in Houston, visit todaysvision.com or the location nearest you. Altuve with another multi-hit game.
Looks like someone's going to get up now in the Cubs bullpen. As A.J. Reed will stand in, but first a visit to the mound by Chris Bosio, the Cubs pitching coach. Arrieta at 81 pitches working in the 6th inning. And the Cubs leading 9-2.
Nothing seems to be wrong with the arm. We see velocity good, just location missing on occasion now as Justin Grimm gets up in their bullpen, right-handed pitcher.
Bosio heading back to the dugout before Reed stands in. Reed pinch hit for Correa in the 4th, who stayed in the game at first. A.J. struck out looking in that plate appearance.
A couple of the AL West teams that Arrieta has faced, it was the Angels, where he threw 7 shutout innings, the Oakland A's 8 shutout innings. Seattle Mariners touched him up for 2 runs in 7 innings. That was his worst showing.
So he's going to be upset when the Cubs aren't playing the AL West next year in interleague.
That's right.
Pitch to Reed. In the dirt, gets away from Ross to his left, has trouble finding it. By the time he does, Bregman scores. Altuve goes to second, and it's 9-3 Cubs. 13th wild pitch of the season for Arrieta. That leads the National League.
No chance for Ross. I mean, that pitch was spiked right out of the hand. Big bounce off that hard dirt and straight up toward the top of the glove, then off the left shoulder of the catcher.
So Altuve in scoring position, still only 1 out. As the Astros offense showing signs of life here against a really good pitcher. 1-0. It's down and in, and it's 2 balls and no strikes to Reed. And you talk about the numbers that Arrieta has against the AL West, and I'd have to imagine, I mean, Arrieta's really good, obviously, but the unfamiliarity of the AL West teams with Arrieta certainly has to work in his favor. First time he's ever faced the Astros tonight. The 2-0. Bounce foul up the first baseline, 2-1. Arrieta settles back onto the rubber. Altuve the leadoff second. Now the 2-1 to Reed. And A.J. lifts it foul and out of play behind home. A 2-2 count.
I thought it was interesting that the approach that the pitching coach for the Cubs had with Arrieta when he came over from the Baltimore Orioles, where he didn't have a lot of success and, quite frankly, didn't have a lot of confidence. He challenged him to be a leader. Start walking around and stick out your chest like a leader. And after a while doing that, he started feeling like a leader. Got his confidence back.
2-2. In the dirt, that gets away to Ross to his right. Altuve going to third, to throw not nearly in time. Second wild pitch of the inning for Arrieta.
Good read by Altuve. He's got the weight on that front foot when he gets off the bag, when that ball gets into the hitting zone. It's much easier to get that read and get a good jump.
So full count now to Reed. Arrieta comes set. Now the payoff pitch. Low, ball 4. Second walk allowed by Arrieta. And now the Astros have 2 on with 1 out, trailing 9-3. With Yuli Gurriel coming to the plate, and he's going to see a different pitcher as Joe Madden will come out of the dugout. Justin Grimm's been warming for the Cubs. He will come in, and this pitching change is brought to you by Landry's, the leader in dining, hospitality, entertainment, and gaming. With over the Rangers traded to the Cubs to get Matt Garza near the deadline in 2013. So Jake Arrieta done after 5 1/3 innings, and responsible for the 2 men on. Gurriel, the batter, he is 0 for 2 with a ground out his last time up. Reached on the fielder's choice in the second. Outfield shaded the other way slightly. Grimm with the delivery. Breaking ball in the dirt. Nice stop by Ross. Scooping that on the backhand, 1-0.
That's about all he could have done. Typically, you like your catcher to get out there and try to block it with their chest protector, but it hit so far out front and off to his right that Ross had no choice but to backhand it.
1-0 delivery. Curveball, swing and a miss. Oh, he made Gurriel look silly on that one. 1-1.
Seems like Gurriel's able to adjust, though. When he makes a bad pass at the ball, he's able to make an adjustment, see it a little bit better, and expect that as his career goes along once he sees some of these pitchers a couple of times.
1-1. Outside, 2 balls into strike. Pat Neshek is now up in the Astros pen. Brady Rogers was up earlier.
Notice Gurriel didn't even flinch at that breaking ball.
Yeah, 3 straight curveballs from Grimm to Gurriel. Two one. Breaking ball in the dirt. That gets through Ross's legs. Altuve will stay at third, but Reed goes to second. The third wild pitch of the inning for the Cubs.
And you got to imagine David Ross has to expect a ball a little bit lower than that, but tried to backhand pick it instead of getting on his knees and anticipating that ball in the dirt. Not a good play by the catcher.
Yeah, that's a wild pitch by Roll because it bounced first, but yeah, that's definitely one Ross would like to have back.
Yeah.
So now 2 men in scoring position. Astros down by 6 with 2 runs home so far here in the bottom of the 6th. 3-1. That's a breaking ball low. Ball 4. Steady diet of curveballs to Gurriel. And now the Astros have loaded the bases for Evan Gattis.
Well, it was a good at bat by Gurriel. Got all breaking balls. Looked bad on one of them, but saw the rest of them just fine.
Gattis 0 for 2. Flied out to deep left center. Nice running catch by Ben Zobrist his last time. That's Altuve at third, Reed at second. Gurriel the runner at first. 9-3 Cubs with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th. Gattis, a .325 career hitter with the bases loaded. 3 for 15 this year. First pitch. Breaking ball drops in for a strike. Well, Grimm certainly loves his curveball. 0-1. He has thrown nothing but curves since coming into this game.
Gattis has tied the club record for home runs by a catcher in a single year in just over 150 at bats, 16 of them.
0-1. That's lined foul into the seats off to the right. First fastball Grimm has thrown, and that one at 95 miles an hour. Gattis has 1 grand slam in his career. He hit it as a rookie with the Braves in 2013. But now down 2 strikes. Grimm delivers. And Gattis hits it in the air, center field. Fowler coming in, still coming in. He's there, makes the catch. Faking the tag is Altuve. He'll stay at third, and there are 2 outs.
Well, you can't risk it when you're on third base down by this many runs. Not deep enough to get the run home.
And now Colby Rasmus will bat. He is 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground out. So Rasmus looking for a big hit with the bases loaded. He has a home run in his career off of Grimm. 2 for 6 lifetime off of this right-hander.
Home runs in back-to-back games in the recent road trip in Cleveland, did Colby. Looked like he was starting to get on the mark.
Infield back, shaded slightly to pull. Outfield straight away and deep. Pitch on the way, and swung through for strike 1. Got a fastball and couldn't connect.
Looked like Colby still had a little bit of doubt what pitch he was going to get there. Really late on that fastball when he usually isn't.
.294 hitter lifetime with the bases loaded. 5 grand slams, including 1 earlier this year. And now time called as Rasmus will step out for a moment. Great crowd on hand, many of them standing. Hoping to see something big from Colby. You hear the chant of Colby from the crowd. 0-1 from Grimm. That's outside. Snap throw down to first and back safely as Gurriel. Helmet comes flying off after that headfirst slide.
Predetermined by the catcher and first baseman, giving each other a signal. Thinking that Gurriel was getting a little too aggressive off the first base bag and trying to bail out his pitcher the easy way.
Rasmus ready. The 1-1. That's off the plate away. 2 balls and a strike. And a really key pitch here, especially with the bases loaded. Certainly don't want to get to 3-1 if you're Grimm.
Well, a line drive should get down with as deep as the Cubs outfielders are playing.
Altuve off third. Reed, the runner at second. Gurriel is at first. Grimm works from the third base side of the rubber. Now the 2-1. Curveball, and that's hit in the air to center field. Playable for Fowler coming in. He's there, makes the catch, and that ends the inning. Astros get a couple of runs, but leave the bases loaded. And we're through 6 innings. Cubs 9.
Conditioning, plumbing, and installation services. Call 713-777-7777. That's ARS Rescue Rooter, as the first pitch catches the outside corner for strike one. Neshek with a 90-mile-per-hour fastball. That slider he'll twist in there against these left-handed hitters in on their hands, and a changeup. There's a good sinker on the outside corner once again. So Neshek quickly ahead, 0-2 to Ben Zobrist. 31,939 here at the ballpark tonight. So great crowds all 3 games of this series. As Neshek throws a slow changeup in there to Zobrist. He rolls over and is picked up by Marwin Gonzalez, the shortstop who was playing on the right side of second base, making the play easily for out number 1. So the shift working well there, and it'll be Addison Russell's turn. Russell has had quite a day. He's got a couple of singles and a 2-run homer. He's 3 for 3. He's scored 3 times, and that homer was his 20th of the season, and those 2 RBIs, 89 and 90 on the year. So what a season it is for the Cubs shortstop. First Cubs shortstop to reach 90 RBIs since Ernie Banks logged 117 back in 1960. First pitch is in there for strike one. Russell, a right-handed batter. Infield pretty conventional for the Astros standards as Neshek fires one there a touch high for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike. First ball that Neshek has thrown so far. Pass says with that sidearm delivery, he said it's easy to repeat his delivery. He's never really had trouble throwing strikes. There's a slider, and that one's fouled back into the screen. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Cubs lead at 9-3. They've out-hit the Astros 10-4. Rubber game of this 3-game series. Astros corner outfielders are pinched toward the gaps as the fastball is fouled straight back. Addison Russell, very quick hands. It looked like he swung that bat at the very last moment. The Astros have gone with Mike Fiers. He lasted 2 1/3. Then it was Gustave, Feliz, and Hoyt. And now Pat Neshek. Neshek with the pants high, as usual. His feet apart as he looks in for the sign. Now delivers. There's a slider, swing and a miss. Russell goes down. Finally, somebody got out Addison Russell. Now 2 down in the inning for Javier Baez. Baez 2 for 3 so far. He's singled twice. The second single, he collected an RBI. He's 2 for 3. Trevor Cahill now up in the bullpen for Chicago. Astros will shift over to the left side. 3 guys over there. A.J. Reed, the first baseman, way off the bag. And First pitch slider catches the outside corner. Baez looks at that one, taking all the way. If you're a right-handed batter, they just haven't had much success off of Neshek the last few years, really. One of the toughest righties in the business against right-handers. Slider swing and a miss, pulling off of that one. No balls and 2 strikes. That slider, 85 miles per hour. Drifting away from these right-handed hitters. Neshek waddles back and forth as he looks in for the sign, fiddles with the ball in his glove, delivers, and that misses outside. Very fidgety on the mound. Now walking behind the mound, rubbing up the baseball. Cubs came out smoking in the first 4 innings. That's when they scored all of their runs. Here's a fastball, just missed low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Neshek almost able to freeze Baez. Last 3 relievers for the Astros have all 7 strikeouts in the ball game, and now Neshek has 1, and now he has 2. Strikeout. Good slider on the outside corner as Neshek gets a 1-2-3 inning, striking out the last 2. And we'll go to the 7th inning stretch with the Cubs leading the Astros 9-3.
The following minute of Astros history featuring Larry Durker is brought to you by Minute Maid. Minute Maid, put good in, get good out. Here's Durker.
When the Colt 45s came into the league in 1962, they drafted veteran players so they could play respectable baseball. But their goal was to develop young players. The first player they went after with a passion was Rusty Staub, the pride of Jesuit High School in New Orleans. He signed with Houston at the age of 17 on this day in 1961. He had so much power that as a high school senior he hit 300 on his home runs alone. Sadly, the Astros thought he had a congenital ankle problem and they traded him to the Expos in 1969. Rusty went on to play 19 years in the major leagues and compiled near Hall of Fame numbers. If you want to win a trivia contest, ask who is the only player to get 500 or more hits with 4 different teams.
Minute Maid believes that whether it's families or juice, when you put good in, you get good out. That's why you can count on Minute Maid to deliver delicious, refreshing goodness in every sip. Minute Maid, put good in, get good out.
National Car Rental presents A Control Enthusiast Guide to Baseball. 10,000 kittens, a gypsy woman, and a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. All things that are hard to control. Renting at National is not, because National lets you bypass the counter and choose any car in the aisle. So you're in control. And isn't that just the best thing to be in? National, official rental car of the Houston Astros.
Subject to availability and other restrictions. Requires enrollment in the complimentary Emerald Club.
Batting from the left side, he's lined out twice, once to the second baseman and once to the right fielder. First pitch, he bunts down the first base line. Cahill off the mound, underhands over to Rizzo for the first out. Off the mound pretty quickly for a big guy.
Sure was, didn't panic either. Knew he had enough time to underhand that and still get the out at first base. Good idea by Marwin, but wasn't able to get it past Cahill.
It's Jake Marisnik's turn. He'll climb in there 0 for 2. He's grounded out twice. Once to the shortstop and once to the third baseman. Infield will play it straight up. Got playoff action in the minor leagues for the Astros tonight. They're in the California League as that first pitch misses a little bit low to Marisnik. As High Desert, single A affiliate for the Rangers, leads Lancaster 8-4 as they play in the 6th inning. There's a ball ripped down the left field line for a base hit. Marisnik with the big turn around first base. He'll hold up. Trailing by 6 runs. Good idea there. Zobrist gets it in quickly, the left fielder.
And it's an 0 for 13 for Jake.
So he's on first base. George Springer will come to the plate. He's walked, he's flied out to right field and was hit by a pitch and scored last inning. Looked like that breaking ball of Arrieta got him on the wrist, a sore spot somewhere, but able to shake it off and remain in the game. So High Desert over Lancaster tonight in the 6th inning. In that series, it's the South Division Finals of the California League. Lancaster, the Astros affiliate, has a 1-0 lead in that series as the first pitch gets by Springer for strike 1.
And that game's in High Desert.
That one's in High Desert, right?
Well, High Desert may be even more favorable to hitters than Lancaster is.
Astros Radio Down on the Farm report is brought to you by Chick-fil-A Houston as Rondon gets up in the bullpen for Chicago, and the fastball misses inside. 1 ball and 1 strike to George. George leads the team with homers. He has 26. Stands straight up and down in the right-hander's batter's box. There's a ball hit hard right at the shortstop. Taylor-made for Russell. Over to the second baseman, Baez, in time to get Springer on the double play. So Cahill works out of it. Hard hit ball by Springer.
Now, Steve mentioned, native of Richmond, Texas. He and Randall Grichuk helped lead the Richmond, Texas Little League to the Little League World Series back in 2003.
Went on to become one of the best pitchers ever at Arizona State. Illustrious program. And the Astros nabbed him in the 3rd round a few years ago. So finally up to the big leagues for Brady Rogers, looking for better success here.
David Ross will lead it off, 0 for 2 with a sac fly. Pitch on the way. And there's a strike on the outside corner, 0-1.
Rogers was named the Pacific Coast League Pitcher of the Year this year, a 2.91 ERA in AAA.
0-1. That's low and away.
And that's saying something in the Pacific Coast League.
A very hitter-friendly league.
You have an ERA under 4 in that league, you're doing something.
Three infielders on the left side against Ross. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Chase a slider off the plate away.
Good tight action on that one. Good spin.
Rogers a deep breath. Working out of the windup, delivers a 1-2 to Ross. Swing and a miss. David Ross goes down on strikes. And Brady Rogers picks up the K.
Is that Brady's first major league strikeout?
It's number 2.
Okay.
In Brady's career.
Made quick work of David Ross there.
So 1 out and no one on for Albert Almora Jr., who is 1 for 3 with a 2-run single. Brady Rogers played his high school ball at Lamar Consolidated. First pitch. It's a strike on the outside corner. It's out in Rosenberg. He was teammates there with Randall Grichuk, now the Cardinals as well. He threw a perfect game and a no-hitter as a senior in 2009 for Lamar Consolidated. 0-1. That's low, a ball and a strike. And then his freshman year at Arizona State helped them to the College World Series. Rogers with the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Awkward looking swing at the slider, and it's 1-2.
But the guys coming out of the bullpen for the Astros: Gustave 3 strikeouts, Feliz 2, Hoyt 2, and Neshek 2.
And Feliz, Hoyt, and Neshek each threw scoreless innings as well. The 1-2 to Almora. Breaking ball poked foul into the seats off to the right.
Rogers credits Gregerson for showing him a grip on his slider during Major League Spring Training Camp this year, for his improvement with his slider.
The 1-2. And Almora lifts this in the short center. Marisnik racing in. Headlong dive. Makes the catch. Jake Marisnik took away a base hit from Almora, and there are 2 out.
Not only quick steps, but long steps from Marisnik. He can really cover ground. Looks like a wide receiver out in center field the way he patrols.
So 2 out and nobody on for Dexter Fowler. He has a double, 2 walks, a run scored, 1 for 2 tonight. The Cubs leading 9-2 in the top of the 8th. Leg kick and the pitch, and it's a breaking ball that drops in for a strike. Rogers' stuff looks a lot more crisp tonight than it did his first 2 times out there. Now trying to throw a scoreless inning. Here comes the 0-1. Couldn't hold up on the fastball at 92 miles an hour. And it's 0-2 now to Fowler.
Good pitch at the letters from Brady. Change the eye level. See if you can go off of that pitch. You can either climb the ladder or break something off low.
0-2. That's a curveball in the dirt. Nice stop by Gaddis to his knees. Fowler doesn't bite, and it's a 1-2 count. Rogers back on the rubber. Now the right-hander delivers. Fastball just off the plate away. Rogers had taken a step toward the first base dugout, so had a few infielders. It's 2-2.
Got to be careful with that. Each and every time Brady gets a chance to go out there, he's going to feel more comfortable. Game will slow down each and every time.
2-2 pitch. Breaking ball down and in. Fowler held on the swing, says third base umpire Mark Carlson, and now a full count. Three-two to Fowler. Inside in the dirt, ball 4, and Fowler draws the walk. So Rogers got ahead 0-2, but then lost him. Third walk drawn by Dexter Fowler tonight. And he's aboard for Chris Bryant.
Well, that's his job. He's been on base 4 times, including that double. He wants to set the table for these big boys, these next 3 guys coming up.
Bryant 1 for 4, an RBI double in the first. Bryant with 2 hits in this series. Both of them have driven in runs. Had a 2-run home run on Friday. First pitch. There's a strike on the outside corner. 92-mile-an-hour fastball, 0-1. Astros are really pleased with the strides Rogers made this year. Subpar year at AAA last year. Struggled at AA 2 years ago. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Got off speed pitch. Got Bryant out in front. 0-2. Rogers turns 26 a week from today. Here's his 0-2. It's in the dirt. Stopped by Gaddis. A ball and 2 strikes. Rogers in Jeff Luhnow's first draft class as a general manager of the Astros. 3rd-round pick in 2012 out of Arizona State. Fowler leads off first. Now the 1-2 to Bryant. Breaking ball, and that just missed. Maybe a little high. It's a 2-2 count. Close pitch doesn't go Rogers' way.
And Bryant usually very aggressive. I'm surprised he didn't swing at that one.
9-3, Cubs lead. We're in the top of the 8th inning. Now the 2-2. Fowler is going. Pitch is poked to right field. Springer racing over and runs it down. Springer going toward the line to take away that line drive by Bryant. Jake Arrieta charged with all 3 runs in his 5 1/3 innings. But still in line for the victory. First pitch to Bregman. It's a breaking ball outside.
Hector Rondon warming up in the pen for the Chicago Cubs out in left center field.
Just in case the Astros get a little too close to comfort for the Cubs. That's outside. It's 2 balls and no strikes.
28 RBIs in the last 25 games for Bregman.
The 2-0. Chopper up the third baseline. Bryant can't backhand it, but it doesn't matter. It's a foul ball. It's 2-1.
Not trying to compare Bregman to anybody, but the way he holds his hands and the way he delivers that bat to its path is very reminiscent of Paul Molitor. The way he did it. He didn't really take his hands back first before he started his swing, and that's what Bregman does. Very few guys can do it.
The 2-1. Swing and a miss at a breaking ball, 2-2. Yeah, they call that the load.
Yeah, when they go back and you create separation with that front foot, but Bregman doesn't do it. When he strides, his hands stay right there, and then he explodes.
2-2. Swing and a miss. Got him on an off-speed pitch, and Bregman down on strikes. First strikeout for Cahill, 1 out.
Pull the string on a good changeup. Good arm speed on that pitch.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Houston Astros radio network.
KBME Houston, an iHeart radio station.
This is H.A. Hinch. Sports Talk 790 is your home for Astros baseball.
One out and nobody on for Jose Altuve, who is 2 for 3 with a homer. Pitch by Cahill is bounced foul up the third baseline for strike one. Cahill came up originally with the A's. He was a second-round pick of Oakland back in 06. Made his big league debut with the A's in 09, and in 2010 was an all-star and won 18 games. 0-1, grounded softly left side. Russell waits on it. He has it. Guns it over to first in time. 2 out. He was only 22 years old when he won 18 games with the A's in 2010. Had an ERA under 3. The next year, or after the next season, wound up getting traded to Arizona. And didn't have quite the same success with the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks wound up sending him to the minors in 2014. A year in which he went 3-12 with an ERA of close to 6, working mostly as a starter. A.J. Reed 0 for 1 with a walk. First pitch, and Reed looks at one low. And then last year was a bit of a nomad, seeing time in the big leagues with the Braves and the Cubs, and also pitched in the minor leagues with the Dodgers. 1-0. It's off the plate away. 2 balls and no strikes. Wound him getting released 2 different times last year. And pitched well down the stretch for the Cubs. 2-0. Bouncer hit softly left side, fielded by Bryant, throws to first in time, and it's a 1-2-3 inning. Trevor Cahill retires 5 of the 6 he has faced, and we go to the 9th. After 2 1/3, charged with 7 runs. Pitch on the way, swing and a miss. Rizzo down on one knee after chasing that first pitch curveball. Yandel Gustave gave up 2 runs in his inning in 2/3, but all zeros for the Cubs since the 4th inning. And Rogers trying to keep it that way. 3 infielders on the right side. The 0-1 is outside for a ball.
The Astros have kept Rizzo in check pretty well this series. Just 1 base hit. That came in the 4th inning of this ball game.
1-1. Swing and a miss. Down on one knee again. Rizzo's trying to hit the ball off of his picture on the scoreboard, I guess, in right center. It's a 1-2 count. Leg kick and the pitch. And Rizzo grounds it right side to his right. Altuve, he fields it in the shift and throws to first in time. And Rizzo is the first out. Activity in the Cubs bullpen. That's right-hander Felix Pena getting loose. As Jorge Soler will come to the plate. He homered in the 3rd, 1 for 4.
Last pitch to Rizzo, a really good, firm, hard fastball in on his hands. Another quality pitch from Rogers.
Pitch to Soler. Swing and a miss at a curveball. 0-1. They started off both hitters in this inning with breaking balls, Rizzo and Soler. One strike pitch. That's at the knees on the inside corner, so throws him a breaking ball away, and then a perfectly located fastball down and in. Soler didn't think that last pitch was a strike, and now he's in an 0-2 hole. Leg kick and the pitch. Curveball tap foul off Gaddis, rolls behind the plate. Astros welcome the Rangers to town for 3 starting tomorrow night. It'll be Doug Fister against Martin Perez. Brad Peacock will get his 2nd start on Tuesday against A.J. Griffin. And then it's Joe Musgrove against Yu Darvish on Wednesday. The 0-2. That is on the outside corner for strike 3. 2nd strikeout of the night for Brady Rogers. Soler with words. for Mark Wegner before heading back to the dugout. There are 2 outs.
Just asked him if Brady Rogers has a paintbrush with him, because he went to the corners on every one of those pitches with the sliders and the fastballs.
So 2 out and nobody on for Ben Zobrist, who's 0 for 3 with a walk and a run. 3 infielders on the right side. Cubs leading 9-3 in the top of the 9th. Pitch on the way, and it's low for a ball. All AL West foes for the Astros from here on out. This is their final interleague game of 2016. The 1-0 outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Last year, the Astros ended the season with an interleague series in Arizona. They ended the season with an interleague series 2 years ago as well against the Mets. The 2-0. There's a strike on the outside corner. Got the breaking ball over. Leg kick and the pitch. And Zobrist lifts this one out in the shallow right. Altuve and Gonzalez are out. Coming in Springer. Springer's there, makes the catch, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Brady Rogers. Well, certainly better returns for Brady tonight compared to his first 2 appearances. First pitch to Gurriel. And that's driven deep to left field. Going back is Zobrist, and he will watch that one go. Over the Landry's Crawford boxes for Gurriel, his 3rd home run of the season. And it's 9-4 Cubs.
All of those home runs coming in the last week for Yuli. Starting to heat up and recognizes those pitches on the inside corner and turning on them. He's got a lot of power in there.
Gurriel also gets his 8th RBI. And it brings up Gaddis, who is 0 for 3, 2 flyouts and a ground out. Activity in the Chicago bullpen. They have a lefty up. So it looks like a couple of lefties have gotten up now. First pitch to Gaddis, and Gaddis drives this one deep to left center field, and that one is gone onto the train tracks. Back-to-back jacks for the Astros. 9-5 Cubs.
Well, looky here. 2 pitches later for the Astros. It's a 4-run ball game now for Gaddis. It's 25th of the season.
And that is Gaddis' 17th home run this season as a catcher, which sets a new Astros record. He had been tied for home runs as a catcher with Jason Castro in 2013, John Bateman in 1966. Joe Madden out of the dugout. He's going to take the baseball from Trevor Cahill. Travis Wood coming into the game, and we'll be right back.
Serving Astros fans some hot, sizzling, delicious hot dogs.
So Teoscar Hernandez stands in, hitting .219. 324 on base percentage, 3 homers, 7 RBIs in 23 games. Pitch on the way, and that's down and in for a ball. Wood holding lefties to a 136 average, which is why Hernandez gets the call here over Rasmus. The 1-0, swinging a foul back to the screen. 89-mile-an-hour fastball.
Rob Zastryzny is up in the bullpen now for the Cubs. Another lefty.
Gesundheit.
Thank you very much.
Zastryzny, a Corpus Christi native. Hernandez ready for a 1-1. Here it is. Bounce foul up the third baseline. You mentioned what a good athlete Wood is. When he was a starting pitcher and used to get to hit on a regular basis, he was a pretty good hitter. Had 3 home runs one season. last year did make 9 starts for the Cubs, but mostly out of the bullpen. He had 4 relief appearances in his career before last year, but moved to the bullpen in mid-May. It's been there ever since. Hernandez hits this one out in the right center. To his right, Almora. He's there to put it away. And there is 1 out in the bottom of the 9th.
Now closer Aroldis Chapman gets up in their bullpen. So should the Astros score a run, they go to their closer.
Marwin Gonzalez 0 for 3. 2 lineouts, and he's also been put out trying to bunt. Will bat right-handed for the first time tonight. 9-5 Cubs in the bottom of the 9th inning. Astros offense coming to life as this game has progressed, but the Cubs jumped out to a 9-0 lead in this game. Pitch on the way, and that is in there for a strike. Got the fastball over.
You know, Robert, I noticed something today that kind of piqued my attention as far as this Astros team and their record coming into this game, 75-67. That's just one off the pace of their record last year.
0-1. That's hit foul over the screen and into the Mazda Club level.
Last year, the Astros at this time, 76-66. But it figures with 2 or 3 teams ahead of them, it may take more than 87 wins. Or 86 wins that the Astros obtained last year.
Well, that's the thing. You look at the standings, 3 games back in the wild card, but yeah, then you look at who's in front of them. The 0-2, and that's hit foul and out of play right side. You know, if you're 3 games back and there's nobody between you and the team you're chasing, that's one thing. But the Yankees 2 games back, so are the Tigers, and then the Blue Jays and Red Sox. They're tied right now. As they always say, if the season ended today, they would be the teams in the wild card, Toronto and Boston. Here's the 0-2. It's in the dirt. A ball and 2 strikes now to Marwin. Blue Jays have been scuffling of late, falling out of first place after dropping a series. And I beg your pardon, I said it would be the Red Sox Blue Jays. I mean, the Blue Jays and the Orioles would be the wild card participants at the moment. Red Sox taking a series from Toronto this weekend to move in the first place by a couple of games. 1-2, swing and a miss. Gonzalez down on strikes, got him on the slider, and the Astros are down to their final out. Jake Marisnick will stand in. Marisnick ended in 0 for 13 with a base hit in the 7th. 1 for 3 tonight. Wood delivers. It's inside. So the Cubs 1 out away from reducing their magic number to 5 ahead of their 3-game series against St. Louis. So they have even if they don't win this game, have a chance to clinch in St. Louis. 1-0. Ground ball left side. That's right at Bryant. Third baseman is up with it. Throws across in time, and that is the ball game. The Chicago Cubs score early and able to hold on late as they defeat the Houston Astros tonight by a score of 9-5. Cubs take 2 out of 3 in this interleague series. We'll be back with the Mazda postgame show right after this.
Houston Astros play-by-play is brought to you by Houston Methodist, leading medicine. By your Houston area Lexus dealers. By Landry's Restaurants, the leader in dining, hospitality, entertainment, and gaming. By Gallery Furniture, made in America. By Blue Cross.